Let's start out with the history of Nocturnus. How'd you get together? And
the band was formed in June of '88, and I think in September of '88 we got our keyboard player. He was a friend of like our old bass player and our guitarist Mike, and they had asked him, they knew he'd play keyboards, and they asked him if he wanted to make some intros and stuff for us, you know. So he made some stuff up and brought his keyboards to our warehouse and just, you know, played the stuff, and then we went like right into the song, and it sounded cool, you know, and we liked it a lot. And after the song was over, we were like, well, why don't you try something, you know, in the song, you know, and he tried some parts, and before we knew it, like the first day he had like a whole song with parts down, and it sounded really good, so that's when we added our keyboard player. And then a couple months after that, in November, we recorded our demo. It was engineered by John Leva from Sabotage, the vocalist. They've lived here for a long time, so I've known him, and he just asked me if, you know, we needed any help, you know, a good engineer, and I said okay, you know, so that was pretty good, and we did our demo, and we released it like right at the beginning of the year.
How did that sell, that demo?
I think it sold pretty good. It was about 700 or 800 copies, you know, through the mail, and so I thought that was pretty good. You know, it got us our record deal, and that's what happened. Basically, we had a couple lineup changes. We got rid of Gino, and it took us about 3-4 months to find another guitarist, Sean, and we got him in October of '89, and then worked him in. In the beginning of '90, we made a new practice tape with a new, you know, everybody, and sent it to Earache again because they were interested, but they didn't want to sign us on with one guitarist. So, you know, they eventually signed us on like in April, and we recorded in May, and that's when we had a lot of problems with our bass player. So we got rid of him. He was like missing practice all the time. He's partying way too much for, you know, it got in the way of his practice, and he didn't want to practice anymore. So he did a bad job on the album, and that's why we think that the album could have sounded a lot better overall with everybody, and that's where it pretty much brought us up to date. We released the album, got a new bass player
Right.
In October, and we toured Europe.
How'd that tour go?
Real good. You know, we did like 22 shows in Germany, Holland, Belgium, and the UK
Right.
with Bolt Thrower, and we did some shows with Benediction in the UK. They opened, and some shows with Unleashed in Germany. They opened.
That's
so
cool.
I think they played 3 or 4 shows in Germany.
So you recorded your album at Morrisound
Yeah.
using Scott Burns?
No, it was Tom Morris.
Tom Morris?
Scott was, that whole month that we had booked to record, Scott had already booked Obituary, and then he was doing Sepultura almost like right away and some other stuff. And unless we wanted to wait like 4 or 5 months almost to use Scott, you know, we had to, we just went ahead and kept the same time and used Tom. But I think it turned out really good. I mean, Tom's really good. I think on our second album, we're going to use them both, you know, have them both engineer it.
Now, have you worked on new material for your second LP?
Yeah, we have like 5 songs already. We have one that's completed with vocals, 3 more, 4 more that are completed, and then 1 more that's almost finished. So it's like 5 new songs. We've got 1 that's almost finished.
Is it in the vein of like futuristic type topics as lyrics?
Yeah, some of them are. I mean, it's like, well, Aquatica is basically like a underwater, like, destruction type song, and not the band, but, you know, like just about underwater destruction and stuff like that. And you see, Climate Controller is kind of like about a guy that uses, you know, like technology and the Necronomicon to like produce like storms and stuff, like, you know, technological demons. And we've got another song, it's called Grid Zone. It's about like using like just some planet out in outer space, and you strip the entire surface of the planet away. It's like an Earth-type planet, and you turn it into like just a defensive mechanism, you know, like of weapons, like a huge planet of weapons, you know. And it's about that, like doing that to a planet, and about the planet like attacking other planets in the universe. So it's a pretty weird song. And what's that? It's 3. Arctic Crypt. That's the newest one we're working on. It's kind of like a where they find an ancient creature in the ice, you know, and they bring it back to life. It's a pretty weird song. And what else? What's the other one? Oh, Method of Bodon, or might be called Tribal Bodon. It's a song about voodoo.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, that one we just finished, and no lyrics yet, but it's gonna be about voodoo, and it has like another new thing that we're doing. It's the keyboards do drums also, and along with my drums in the beginning, to make a real heavy like drum beat sound, you know, like a voodoo drum beat sound. So, and in the song, it's got some places like that too. He does a lot of drums along with my drums. It sounds really cool.
Let's go back in the past. Go back to the Morbid Angel days.
Before Christ.
Yeah.
Okay.
How'd that come about, Morbid Angel?
Well, that was the first band I was ever in. I met Trey in high school, and me and Trey found the band, and just we got a first bass player named Dallas, and then we got second bass player John Ortega, and then we recorded that album back in '86, and that never got released. And then after that, there was like a bunch of personal problems in the band, and me and Sterling, who was the new bass player, after we recorded the album, we fired that bass player, and we got Sterling from Incubus. And so Sterling and me quit Morbid Angel and did the Incubus thing, and Trey and Richard, you know, stayed in North Carolina, which is where we recorded the album. And the guy that was paying for the album and stuff that owned the record company was David Vincent. So, you know, they joined his band.
I see.
With, you know, and it's just how that came about. And that's how Incubus came about, too.
Okay. What do you think of the new Morbid Angel?
The new?
Yeah.
New? Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
The new album's really cool. I think it's a lot better than the first to me. I mean, I just like the style that they went into.
What's a couple of your favorite bands?
Me? I like all kinds of stuff, man. I like Morbid Angel a lot. I like Old Possessed. I like like the Two Mega Theory on Celtic Frost album. I like a lot of Merciful Fate and King Diamond stuff, you know. And I like Watchtower a lot, and I like a lot of heavy stuff too, you know, like a lot of death metal and Pestilence and all kinds of stuff like that. I've watched demos and I like a lot of that stuff. I mean, there's tons of bands I could name. You know, I just, I don't know, I just keep constantly finding new things that I like and I listen to it all the time, you know. So mostly stuff like that I name though, but that actually is a big category of different types of metal. And, you know, any bands that sound like any of those bands I mentioned, I usually like too.
Okay. All right, one last question. What's your view on religion?
Well, that's sort of like, I think I've expressed it in the music pretty well. But, you know, it's something that usually, it's gotten me in a lot of trouble already. Our whole German tour was almost canceled.
Is that right?
Because of just like certain things that were brought up from the past, and you know, this article that they did in Germany saying that we sacrifice animals and all this shit. And so I personally, like, lately I've just been saying, you know, you can read our lyrics and think what you want, but you know, I just like live my life the way I want to.
Right.
That's basically what I believe.